This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Oh, isn't that hair fabulous? Broadcasting live from the new hotspot on Fort Myers Beach, Wahoo Willie's. It's time for another exciting award-winning episode of Beach Talk Radio. Here are your humble hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wahoo Willie's. Big round of applause on this cold Florida day. It's so funny that 60 degrees is cold for people in Florida, and it kind of, oh, you're talking too low? Better? All right. We got our little sound engineer out in the audience. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for coming out here to Wahoo Willie's. Our guest for the full hour today is Adam Botana, and Adam is a representative in the Florida House, District 80, which includes Fort Myers Beach, Bonita, Naples.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Sanibel.
Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, Pine Island.
So the whole
Matlacha,
Yeah.
Boca Grande. Yes.
So you are part of the entire storm area. And first, tell us, what your role is in the in the legislature. What you're on committees and different things. Tell us, fill everybody in.
First of all, thanks for having me this morning, guys. I
Well,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Thank
We
you for
had a
coming down.
little miscommunication with my legislative aide. I thought it was going to be on Zoom, but I'm happy to be here. So we'll throw her under the bus for that.
Is that
but
Julie?
Julie, yes.
Yeah.
But Julie's great. She
Yeah.
does an awesome job. James in my office here, district secretary, both great people. They make me look good, and they do a great job. So first of all, so I'm the state representative for District 80, which is all of coastal Lee County. So it goes from actually Boca Grande, Boca Grande all the way down to Immokalee Road in Collier County. So now I actually take part of Collier County too. And then I go inland, Bonita, Estero, and then down into North Naples. So big area. I've been in the legislature for 3 years now. First time I ran was District 76, and that was all coastal Lee. Remember knocking on a lot of doors when I was out here. With redistricting this past year, we took a little bit further south, so I lost parts of San Carlos Park, which is a great area, to a friend, Tiffany Esposito, which she ran, and she won for that seat. But so all of coastal Lee, and pretty much wherever Hurricane Ian came in, it came right through our district for sure.
And you were just reelected for a second term, 2-year terms.
2-year terms, yeah. So we're in a state house. We meet. It's a part-time job, which is it's funny. They say it's a part-time job, but
Yeah, with a huge pay, like what, $29,000?
$29,000 a year. Yes. So a little bit how I
Look at
got.
that, $29,000 for you, and that's
Compared to the town
Yeah.
manager who checked out at $371,000. Cha-ching.
Yes.
served it up.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes. My aides make more than we do, but that's
yeah,
part
right,
of it.
yeah.
They do a lot more work, but it's a lot.
They do a lot more work.
they do a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls. But my family and I own Baywater Boat Club and Rentals, Santa Bonita Springs. That's how I got involved in this. Rick Scott appointed me to a board 4 years ago, to an FWC board for boating. I went up to Tallahassee 3 years ago to lobby for clean water, because we had a lot of water problems, red tide, blue-green algae. Walked around the Capitol and thought, hey, I can do this. This seems pretty interesting. On a plane ride home, seeing that my predecessor, Ray Rodriguez, is termed out. Went and talked to my dad and said, hey, I'm going to run for state legislature. He's like, do it. He came from Cuba in the 60s. He's all about it. So we went out and knocked over on 10,000 doors, raised a bunch of money, and won. And now we're just in the process. Now, water quality is always on the forefront of our area. Now we have a hurricane here that came through. But just driving up this morning from Bonita, from my place, my house, I live on Bonita Beach on the backside. We got 11 feet underneath my house. I'm in a Florida stilt house built in the 60s. I had just in one corner, I'm very lucky. I didn't lose a house, but water came up, lost all downstairs, our marina. We have 75 boats there with a boat club and rentals. We pulled everything out, save the docks. That's what you do. We've had several storms. We've been here since 2004. We went through Charlie, Wilma. We never had a storm surge like this. We had 50 at our marina. We had 25 inland at the dog track. All 50 when I came that night were gone.
Wow.
We had 6 in the middle of the road on Bonita Beach Road. Couldn't see nothing else. It was dark. Everything at the dog track was fine. I was out there the next morning. I could see all of our boats across the bay. So everything had floated across. Our floating dock came loose. We started yanking them out the next day. We were out there. We had our employees there.
Were all those boats ruined or are they saved?
We lost about 12 of the 75. So,
well, that's, I mean, it stinks, but that's pretty good.
My dad cracked the whip. We got a great staff there at the marina, and we were closed for about a month on the boat club side. We were back open. So we opened a month later. We got members going out. We just opened go north here in the last 3 weeks because we were letting all our boats go south down to Wiggins. But we got members out. The boat rental is still closed. Will probably be another month or so because those boats really got wrecked. But, I was driving up here. I called Bonita Boat Rentals on the way up. Eric is a competitor, but hey, he's open. Mm-hmm. So, folks, go see him.
Yeah.
And I hear everything all the time. People always talk about like, oh, don't come, don't see Fort Myers, don't see Sanibel. I say, if you're going to come up here, stop at Wahoo Willie's, have lunch, have a drink, tip big. Do the same thing in Sanibel. Do the same because these folks need all the support they can get.
Right. There was a long time where they weren't working at all and the places weren't open, and it's great if people come down. And I don't know how many conversations I had with people this morning. Do you tell people to come down or do you not tell people to come down?
Yes, you do.
You tell people to come down. They're going to come down anyway, whether you tell them or not. It's 7:00 this morning or 6:00 this morning, even though it's chilly, 55 degrees, 58 degrees, which compared to...
it's warmer than that now, though.
All right. Well, it's 6:00 this morning. People are still walking in Times Square and walking on the beach. They just want to walk on the beach. Now,
if you're from Michigan or, Iowa, this is like you're in shorts and a tank top.
I sold a shirt this morning to a couple guys, and I feel like such a sissy because I have my hoodie on. I had the hood up. I have long pants on, and the guy's standing there in shorts and a T-shirt. I'm like, God, what a sissy I am. It's like, and I'm shivering, like
it's a wet cold. It's cold. Don't let them fool you. It's cold here. It's wet.
But he was standing there like,
this is the dry
he had a little
heat
more
situation. Yeah,
absolutely.
He had a little more body fat on him too, but I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm cuddly and I'm cold too, so it's okay. I'm cuddly.
So in your your election, are you termed out now too?
No. So this is my second term. So they call me a junior. No, I'm sorry. I'm a sophomore. Then there'll be a junior term and then a senior term.
Okay.
So we do have term limits in Florida, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing. So after, 6 more years or 5 more years, I'll be done in the Florida House. Who knows what'll happen?
You can run for Senate. You can run for governor.
One hill at a time. Yeah. Easy. So, there's a lot of good things that we can do in this situation. So as a state representative, what we do is we communicate with our cities, with our counties, and the communication with Fort Myers Beach has been 1,000 times better now than it was before.
Right.
We've talked a lot. Yeah. So we've talked, Ed and I have talked about this privately there. I've talked with Dan, even Dan was on the council before, and Jim Adderholt was on the council before. And I remember when I was first elected, I walked into the city council and said, hey, most likely I'm going to win the general. Here's my cell phone number. Give me a call if you need anything. Never heard nothing. We talked before, as the state legislature, we bring back money. That's what we do. We get 7 bills, but we bring home bacon. That's our job. The cities, the counties tell us, hey, what do you need? Hey, we want an appropriation for Times Square. We want appropriation for this. That's what we do. There was not very much communication at all before,
Well, and now that you bring that up, money is what is needed now. So, what can people expect? What?
Well, it goes through a process, where we have
7 mil.
Oh, it's going to be
20?
We're working right now. So I was at my first Rotary Club, my original Rotary Club yesterday or 2 days ago for lunch. And I had Julie there. That's why she's busy. But right now we've put in for appropriation $150 million already.
Wow.
For Fort Myers Beach or for Southwest Florida?
That's for my district. So my district encompasses Sanibel, Fort Myers Beach, Bonita Springs, Estero, and it's probably going to be closer to 200 million by the time we're all said and done. Now that's what we put in, so we'll see what comes out.
So why Florida is filled with cash? They have more cash. They have money, and I'm thankful for that. Why not? What would ever be the delay after seeing the destruction that nobody caused? It was caused by something out of everyone's control. Why not just write the check and let the governments get back to work?
Well, if we did that, we would have no money because there's a situation that happens. It has to go through the process. So now we have $33 billion in reserves. Okay, that's because we have a balanced budget. That's because we go
with
through
a
the
B?
process.
Did you say with a B?
Okay,
With a B.
he said the state of Florida has $33 billion in reserves. And
All right. Well, it's a big state.
It's a big state. We're the 15th largest economy. If Florida was its own country, it would be 15th at the G20. So you think about that. We're as big as Mexico, just the state of Florida.
I'm totally with you. What my point is, not you, but you can see these municipalities struggling.
Mhm.
City Hall the wires are still dangling. And why?
No, we have a appropriation in right now for the city hall for $26 million. $26 million. That's going into appropriation right now. You've had Kevin Guthrie here, and you have the Department of Emergency Management. You have the governor here, and he has over 30 employees on this island right now working. So they're giving you all they can. I mean, with cleanup, with everything like that, so there's a lot of money coming right now. We can't just throw money at it because sometimes you have to figure out what is the right way.
I understand all
Well,
that.
and you want to have checks and balances because if this were someplace else, the rest of the state would be going, all right. I mean, the rest of the taxpayers want to know that it's being done the right way. And, you can't just willy-nilly write checks.
I guess my point is the government of Fort Myers Beach is out of money.
No, they're not.
They're
See,
they're
he likes
cash
to paint
strapped.
these
No.
broad
They're cash strapped.
strokes.
They're not. I spend every day, if not twice a day, talking to Chris Hawley,
Yeah.
to Keith,
Yeah.
our new city manager, Dan Allers. There's money there right now.
Okay.
We're going to make sure that they don't go insolvent.
Okay.
That's my job. Fort Myers Beach is not going to go back to the county. That has to go through me. That's not going to happen. So it's, anyways.
There was a push for that.
Yeah,
for a short period of time, but those people have disappeared.
That's not going to happen. We're going to make sure. I spend, we had Dan up there, Dan Allers, Mayor Allers, and Chris Hawley in Tallahassee a couple weeks ago. Great speech on the House side, great speech on the Senate side. Did great things, to tell the story, but it's a lot about, just relationships. I had a phone call a couple days ago with the chairman for appropriations, Chair Leak, talking specifically on needing money this year to make Fort Myers Beach solvent through, the next year. So it's coming.
It will happen. It will take
happen.
time.
So anything that we appropriate right now, it won't be until July. Okay. The money doesn't get cut till July. So there was other loans that we talked about through FEMA. There was tons of loans that were out there. There were a loan that for $5 million that you could do. And, it's a low interest loan, cheap. During Michael, there was over 30 or 40 of them that they did for Michael up in Panama City and Mexico Beach. And it's from a federal level, and Congress just forgave them all. So we said, hey, that's money that you can get right now. Go after that. So they're working on it. Dana's working on it with Keith and Chris. We have a special session that was just announced yesterday.
Oh,
so that's coming up, and we see
something like this.
Well, there is a bill that's getting ran by Mike G. Lombardo from Cape Coral about to help municipalities.
What does he do?
He's a state representative just like myself.
All right.
So he's a sophomore just like me. A great guy. So he's running that up in for our area and for Hurricane Ian and for Hurricane Nicole on the East Coast. So there's going to be some new stuff there. So we've seen a couple bills looking very good. So when they do a special session, that means they can turn appropriations back on.
I see.
Which we can get money now, not waiting till after July. So we're very excited to see what's going to come up with that.
When we had Keith on, he said he thought it was a 50-50 shot that the state would come through with the funding. What do you think?
Well, it's my responsibility and my job, so I'd say it's a 90-10.
Okay, that's much better than 50%. So, is DeSantis going to run for president?
That's a very good question, Ryan. Next
Oh,
client.
damn it.
Would you like to see Ron DeSantis as president?
I think would be great as
Yeah,
president.
yeah.
He, definitely take charge and knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. So
I know this is going to piss some people off, but why doesn't Trump just get out of the way? I mean, he had his chance, and he did okay when he was in office, but why doesn't he just get out of the way and let DeSantis get in there? He could beat the old man. He could be Biden, right? I don't think Trump can beat Biden, but DeSantis is.
I think President Trump did a great job,
Yeah.
and he was a great president, sir.
I don't know what. Okay, I'll leave it at that. If Ron DeSantis runs for president and wins, who could be the next governor of Florida?
There's a long list. There's a lot of people. You got Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez. She
Right.
was just here a couple days ago.
Yeah, Wahoo Willie's. She was here at Wahoo
No,
Willie's.
she was at because we had a $500 million coming down from Governor DeSantis.
Yeah.
For widening the road, widening 75. Extra
Mm-hmm.
lane will be done by 2027 because I know there's a lot of people that work on Fort Myers Beach, that work in Naples, that live in Lehigh, that live in the Cape, and it's a nightmare.
Byron Donalds.
Yes.
Byron Donalds.
That's
Could be
that's
governor.
been floated around. You have Jimmy Petronas, you have Ashley Moody. There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
It's like Tetris. We'll see where all the puzzles fall down.
You should have brought your crystal ball, apparently.
I wish-
and put
I
a
wish I
little
could tell-
hat
yeah.
on and the whole nine.
So one of the things I want to tell everybody is that the first days after the storm, when nobody was communicating from this old town council, and they were hiding in a trailer, and we were trying to get information out. Adam was one of the first people that you had direct access to a cell phone, and he was helping people. He was driving around the island with those Starlink things, giving people Wi-Fi, and you were doing things with your boat to try and help people. Tell everybody. I mean, you really were
absolutely.
helping people on the beach.
It was a tough time. Everybody, that's when we started. To be honest with you, I started talking with Dan about a week before the storm. Because I always like to have communication with Holly from Sanibel, the mayor.
Great mayor.
I
Great
couldn't
mayor.
really talk to anybody on Fort Myers Beach. I had Dan. We talked a little bit before. It's like, okay, well, I put him in a group chat. We talked with Bonita. We talked with even Boca Grande. Just say, hey, guys, you need anything, let me know I'm here. Because I'm a connection where I can call the governor's office for something.
Back then, though, did you have any idea? Did you think that it was going to be
No,
this? I mean,
my family. I mean, my mom's
Been
side
through
of the
a
family
lot,
has
but-
been here since the 50s. The last time that they had a storm like this was Donna.
Yeah.
And that was like 3 or 4 feet. Actually, at our marina, we didn't own the property then, but there's a water line from then. It was like halfway up the house.
You're going like this.
And now
Everybody
it's-
here is
now
going
it's like this.
yeah, well,
it was
line over there.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's bound to happen. It was going to happen. I remember I was out with my girlfriend a couple nights before saying, hey, we're having a hurricane party. We'll see. We were prepared as best we could be. And to be honest with you, I was at my parents' house in Estero, and they actually, my parents loaded up the Chihuahuas in the bus, and they went to the casino on the East Coast. They weren't sticking around here. But
Do
it
they
wasn't
allow
that bad.
Chihuahuas in the casino?
They stayed
Is
on
it
the bus.
pet
They
fr- oh,
stayed on
okay.
the bus.
Now, you said your girlfriend. You getting married?
That's a very good question, sir. You're full of
Oh,
great
yeah,
questions.
he's gonna put your feet to the fire. I had a bunch last
how long
night.
has she
You
been
didn't
your
have the
girlfriend?
bell last night.
Oh, 2 years. 2
2
years.
years.
She's
I mean-
actually a representative from Kaylee Tuck, a representative Kaylee Tuck from Sebring, actually. So
Yeah.
she's actually running HB1. What is the
No
school
idea what you're
choice bill.
talking about.
Yeah.
It's school choice.
Choice
It's
bill.
a huge.
I see.
You should actually look into it. It's really big for kids and everything along that. But so we hung out, and I thought Wilma was actually worse.
Wait. No, you skip right over the marriage part. I mean, you're not getting away with that. Are you marrying the lady, or?
That's a very good question,
Thank you.
sir.
You're gonna leave it.
It's a very good. She's very
I
great.
see.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have an answer for that right now.
You
It's a
know.
new relationship.
2 years is not new, dear. He's been
Oh,
dating her for 2 years. I
stop.
mean, come on.
I love her. How about that, sir? I
Oh,
love her.
there you go.
Have
Well,
you-
Valentine's Day is coming up.
Have
Just
you-
saying.
I mean, have you told
Saying.
her that you loved her, or you
Oh,
just
of
said it on the
course.
show
Yes,
today
yes.
for the first time?
Oh yeah, you're breaking news. Jeez.
Wow.
It was so unusual for us to put somebody on the spot during the show like that. So, but thank you for being honest.
I
So,
try to be the same guy I'm up there as I am
you know,
here.
speaking of that, what I love about the Florida government is you get paid $29,000, which is nothing. you meet like for 2 weeks, but you get shit done. I mean, things get done, and we have a great governor, and the Florida, like, it's a smooth running state, and he's getting rid of this DEI crap that they have in schools now. Is that what it's called, DEI or DEC or whatever it is? All that stuff. I mean, there's a couple different.
He's
taking things by the horns, and he's trying to get things back to where they're not crazy off the ledge here.
You're way off.
No, I'm totally right about that.
I was like,
he was right on the COVID.
But here's the thing.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
He was right on the COVID. He was way right on the COVID.
Well, with our governor, getting back to what we were talking about earlier, after the storm, I was talking with Dan, there was issues. We were pulling boats out of our marina the day after, right? Mm-hmm. My cell phone service didn't work well at all. We were there, and that's the first time I heard that the bridge was down in Sanibel. The bridge was down in Matlacha, because we didn't have the communication. So first thing I had a friend come over from the East Coast. He's a representative from Broward County, Dan Daly. He's a Democrat, but he was the first cat here. He was on we're pulling boats back to our dock.
There's a Democrat down here?
There's a Democrat.
Holy crap. Who let a Democrat into this state?
Stop.
He came from Broward. He came over and he said, I got a pallet full of water. Where do you want it? And that was great. I was like, so we took it to the fire station over in Bonita. Greg DeWitt, our chief down there, great guy. So then we started getting the stuff back of the boats, and my dad's like, hey, do what you got to do. Then we heard that Sanibel, you couldn't get there. Mm-hmm. We heard that Pine Island, you couldn't get there. So luckily we had a few boats. Dan made a few phone calls. We had a semi-load of water here, 18 pallets here the next day. So that's the connections that you have in the legislature. You have lobbies you can talk to. So we took 2 pallets to Sanibel. We took a pallet to Pine Island. We threw it on a boat and just went up there with all the needs, all the stuff they needed. And we did that for the next 3 or 4. We touched. Our goal was to touch
you were everywhere, man. You were
every
everywhere.
part of our district. I know we came over here and we talked to Dan the day after.
The thing that was strange, you're talking to Dan, but nobody else from the local government was talking to Dan. He was. I don't want to say it
that
to
is
demean
a very good question.
Thank you.
Sir.
It's a very good statement.
I don't want to make it sound like he was just a councilman, but at the point he was just a councilman, and the town manager and the mayor were not communicating with him.
All right, dear. We've been over that. Everybody knows.
I know, and now it's different.
Now it's different. What I want to say, for God, can I wedge in here a minute? Is that what you were saying about a Democrat come over and then he makes a big deal about that? Is something like that just tears all that down and equalizes everybody to just pitch in and help. And you should just take a little bit of that. You always got to bring that up. Well, he's a Democrat, at least he came over.
I was joking about that. I love Democrats.
No, but there's a lot of stuff that we did together. And I mean, just with Dan and Holly, and we just spent time talking about what do you need, what I need. And thank God our governor came in, day 3. County did a great job first 2 or 3 days, but then day 3 got a little sketchy on certain things with bridges. What do we do? How do we, luckily the governor came in with Kevin Guthrie, DEM, Department of Emergency Management, came over, took over the EOC and just really ran with it. And he, and the thing is
getting that
tough.
bridge up, that was Herculean.
Well,
absolutely.
Here's the thing too with the bridge. When
you almost set a precedent.
Bridges.
When you can rebuild a bridge that quickly.
Bridges.
Sanibel Bridge, it was rebuilt in like 3 days, if not less.
Matlacha, Pine Island's bridge was 3 days.
Okay.
Sanibel was 2 weeks.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Kevin Guthrie for just a second. We have this park right here called Bayside. I don't even remember the name because everyone's forgotten it. And Kevin has promised to fix the park so that we can open this side of, maybe Dan warned you about this question, of Old San Carlos.
If he didn't, but everybody else should, because it's just a broken record.
But it's been 4 months now, and this park would revitalize this part of the beach. Don't you agree? I mean, or am I? You guys want me to shut up about the park?
But it's not.
Or just
imperative.
take the fence down and let me go in there with a rake and a broom and fix the thing. But thank you, my fans.
Please,
thank you.
let him go in there and not
Adam,
come out.
On, man.
It's enough.
Take charge of what's going on over there.
No, Kevin Guthrie's done a great job. If we didn't have him, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't be here right now. There wouldn't be power with this because we had help from FP&L. So there's a lot of stuff.
That dude's a no-nonsense dude. There's no doubt about it.
Completely, he's done a great job. His staff's great. Everybody's great.
What are you going to do in that park?
We're going to have, please, that's for another show.
There's other stuff with Lover's Key That's
Yeah.
DEP, that we're working on. And that's the same thing we said down in Bonita. Hey, let's get this open so we get beaches. The beaches are open. Beaches are open. It's parking. It's hard to get to. Lee County's beaches are open. You can
You
Uber
sure about
there.
that?
The beaches are open. It's a state land. You can open the beaches. It's parking is not.
But Lee County says their beaches are closed. It's a phenomenon down here on Fort Myers Beach because you got Lynn Hall Park.
parking.
The parking is closed.
Yeah.
The
The-
parking
right.
is
For
closed.
sure, for sure. Bowditch is closed. Lynn Hall Park is closed. Yeah.
Sanibel, I know they're trying to get some beach parking open.
Yeah.
Down at Bonita, Docks is open down there in Docks. Coconut Jacks
Opened
Mhm.
yesterday.
open yesterday. Melissa,
Docks is open?
Docks is going to be, Docks
Not
has the
Ford's.
beach chairs open. They
Wow.
have
Because
the,
that place we love that place.
yeah, and they're going to open here pretty quick. I think they got a food truck back there. They're going to be opening here pretty quick.
Mhm.
So it's just tough. It's tough. There's a lot of stuff going on. That's one of my things I asked, like, hey, when is the beaches, the parking lot's going to be open? They're going through FEMA, because it's all about reimbursement. Okay, so this is where you have to realize,
Oh boy.
Here comes the
Fort Myers-
FEMA thing.
no, but
He's
for
gonna go
my
off on
no, but
this.
you pay $50 million, and you're supposed to get reimbursed. FEMA can come back 5 years later and say, hey, this wasn't
It's
done
such
wr't.
horseshit, though, Adam. I know you're right
I know,
about it.
but
But
it's
here's
tough.
the thing. Here's the thing.
That's
You
tax
you
dollars.
can't make this up. You can't make this up. What you see here, and for the federal government not to just come in and say, okay, we have to fix this. Like I know I've said this a million times, and it's a broken record. We can build a bridge in 24 hours in Afghanistan. You can't come in here and say, okay, these people we need to bombard this with something.
Well, Ed, the last time I looked, this is not Chicago. This is Southwest Florida, where conservatives would build their own. When I drove up here, I counted 15, 20 houses that look completely normal. Now, these are big, and that's on Bonita. They put the grass out. They've done their thing, and those people help themselves. And we're helping ourselves. I know you guys do a great job of the beach cleanups and the sweeping. Just keep doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to be open here. Like I seen Tom earlier this morning, Turgeson.
Mhm.
I was like, hey, when's this going to be open? He's like, well, November, December. I'm like, October, whatever. And he wants to open it up too. This
He wants
is
to
a
open
great
it up
thing.
tomorrow.
Well,
Once we get this open, it's going to be great.
Oh, huge.
And we had last night, we had Sun Palace Vacation Homes on, and they have,
I didn't
think
even know
said
that.
they had
Eight-
8 rentals
Yeah. So
available.
we have a
So-
question from our Facebook audience. I don't know if you can take this or not, but somebody wants to know if you can do anything about the spy balloon over the China
Oh,
spy balloon. Can you do
geez.
anything about that?
Well, I know our CFO, Jimmy Petrono, said shoot it down, but
Why don't they?
I don't know what's
Something's
up
weird
with
about
that.
why they're not shooting it.
That's on the federal level. That's above my pay grade.
For now.
Somebody else wants to know if you're aware of the insurance issue facing condominiums and short-term rentals.
Yes, absolutely. Not familiar with the short-term rentals. Are familiar with the condominiums. There was, we had Surfside a couple years ago. Well, a year ago, I think about a year and a half ago on the East Coast, where that building
That was-
collapsed. 99 lives were lost. I was over there. A lot of your local fire department as part of it's a USAR team. It's disaster. They were here underneath this bridge trying to fix the water. Actually, the night of when Ian came through. That's another conversation we'll have.
Wow.
But it's a sad deal. There is legislation there. We're working on right now to figure it out. HOAs are always tough. Nobody likes to have.
The way I look at it is
a camp.
communism,
Oh, here we go.
HOAs. That's the way the world operates, right?
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to have reserves.
Just kidding, Dave. Just kidding.
It's a tough deal. To getting on a board on a HOA, my hat's off to you, to folks that do that, because it's tough. You're trying to deal with that. That's some of the, but you have to get involved. And that's the pitch I always say, I never thought I'd be in politics.
Right?
My dad said, hey, maybe mayor, everybody in town. But, with our business, I am Rotary. We're involved in chambers. I'm involved, but everybody needs to get involved, because, if you're going to complain on the sidelines, you need to get involved. You need to run,
Ugh.
because we got to have normal people. I don't care if you're left or right, just normal,
Right.
normal people need to get involved. And it's good to see, so if you're thinking about running, please do. You don't
want him running for anything. That guy's crazy.
but just throw your hat in the ring, and people are like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm very lucky. I'm in a family business, and my dad's still involved. My family's involved, so I'm able to do it. But it's tough. But you got to give back. You definitely have to give back.
Well, especially if you're going to complain. That's the thing. We've had people complain about stuff that we've done, it's minor scale to that. And I'm like, hey, there's room to come and start a
Go do
volunteer
it.
group.
Yeah.
There's room to do a fundraiser. Step up. There's plenty of room.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Be a
Like
doer.
there's a group out there I follow on Instagram called Rebuild Florida.
Mhm.
I don't know if you follow them at all, but they're on Bonita Beach tomorrow morning at 8:00, just cleaning up the mangroves on the
Nice.
backside. 8 a.m. So if you guys are listening, that's something to do. I know you guys. I was driving up here. I see the sweepers. They're sweeping
Yeah.
out, and the sand blows across. They're going to keep pushing stuff to the curb. I know that's an issue to Dan, but I mean they're just coming back, guys. We're not Levy County up in the Panhandle. We're Lee County and Collier County. We're going to come back quicker than stronger than anybody. Come here next year at this time. We're going to laugh and say, hey, remember what this looked like.
So how long do you think it'll take? What is your estimate?
I always said 2 weeks, but I'm more of a salesman for to get the tourists down here. Bonita, there's places 2 weeks. Interior Bonita is 2 weeks. You go in a mile that way, you're fine. Like I say, folks, we're open. Come down, come spend $1. Again, I see people here drinking, having lunch. Tip big. Come out to Sanibel, visit these people. Go there. So I think, the parks. I think it'll probably be this fall that we're up and running. Fort Myers Beach. I mean, there's a lot of houses to build out here. There's a lot of stuff. So that's going to take a couple years, I would imagine. But I think, this city council's, they're unpacking a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff they got to unpack from previous. But they can put the infrastructure down, and they'll have smart growth here and get some things going. I mean, you're still going to have that charm, but there's going to be change.
Now, when you're talking about housing and rebuilding, you said that your house or the house you were in was a 1960s home on stilts.
Yeah.
So way back then, they were putting houses up, and it fared.
Well, I think it's after Donna. So, this hit, I think Donna was 68, 69. This house was built in the end of 69, 70. So they were on stilts for a reason.
So before there was all these regulations and rules.
There's a certain style of a house it's called, I think. I can't think of what it's actually called, but it's not much. It's small. It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and then you do the illegal stuff downstairs. I didn't do that.
Sure.
Because you don't do that. But it's a great house, and it was built then, and it lasted. Like the water came up all the way, like it was in my sliding glass door. Like I got lucky. Like I wasn't
Who was
there.
the builder on that? Because you need to bring that.
I think Jim Walters' home or something like that. I think that's what they're called. They were built, that style back then. But they knew what they were doing. I mean, and that's it's unfortunate. You see Sanibel, you see, like I was driving up here on Fort Myers Beach, the old Michigan ranch style houses that everybody built in the 70s, and there's a lot of issues with 50% rule. You have to work around it. You have to work, again, you have issues again with trailers. I mean, we had a conversation last week with Senator Pasadomo, who's our Senate president, who is a great lady. She's just down here in Naples. Her house was flooded out too. She got 4 feet of water in her house. So she's going through the same thing. So we asked, like, FEMA, what's up with the trailers? What's going on?
Now you started him off.
No, we'll go. Well, I'll tell you what I know. This is at a community there. That's where we found out about those $5 million loans for municipalities and cities and stuff. FEMA will not put a RV trailer in a V zone.
We know that, Adam.
We know that. And then the problem else, too, was they'll put a manufactured home, but the state will.
Okay, but let's back up for a second. The problem with FEMA was they were measuring trailers on Fort Myers Beach for people.
Measuring lots.
Knowing that they could never, ever put those trailers on the lot, which they should have never kind of give people a false impression that they were getting a trailer. If you're not getting a trailer, just tell them up front. People will find... People are resilient. They'll find other ways.
They said that they are changing that going forward.
FEMA's got one job, and they effed the job, one job up. So
it's a tough deal with flooding. I understand. The state has stepped in. Kevin Guthrie says you'll bring trailers. They'll do it for not the 18 months. They'll do it for 6 months. Obviously, you get a trailer on your property, you're okay. But then we had a couple other little hiccups with local governments and a couple little things. Fort Myers Beach did a lot to allow trailers coming in, but we had some building officials that weren't very, they're following the letter to the law. So there was some back and forth, but we've got that taken care of.
Not town of Fort Myers Beach officials, state.
There was some stuff that was going on that we're having some
I don't
issues
even know
with,
what you're talking about. I mean, I must have missed something.
We've got it figured out now. So they've got the trailers coming down here.
Hey,
Okay. All right. No. Let me ask this. So they've got the trailers coming down now. You have to set the clock now, though. You can't say you can't say, all right, you're 4 months in, you get 2 months.
Look at the Washington Post yesterday. Did you see that story?
Yeah, I did.
First front page. Of course, they want to make DeSantis look bad. Big surprise. They're already starting. And it's a sad deal. But I know FEMA is working to place 3,000 families from this storm, and that's a small number. I thought it'd be a lot more, but they placed over 1,000 in homes and rentals and properties where they can put them in there and put them in that, get them in a place. But the problem is we don't have any availability.
Nope.
We had a problem before.
Right.
Yep.
So I mean, our Senator Pastomo had a law that dropped a week ago that's going to help with affordable housing. It's going to be a preemption. That's the one thing that we do on a state level is preempt. We preempt cities on density.
And they hate it.
They do, but I mean, we have to be a check. There's a lot of stuff. There was a deal with sunscreen in the Keys a couple of years ago that was killing the coral. The Keys said, no, we don't want, any kind of sunscreen. So then the state came in and says, no, we preempt you. So there is a bill out there right now. If you have new development, that there has to be some density changes to allow, affordable housing within a development. Let's take, for instance, like Bonita Bay is a beautiful facility in Bonita Springs. If it's built now, there has to be certain areas where they have, I want to say, affordable workforce housing for teachers, firemen, stuff like that. So there has to be something done, because it's really tough. If you live in Lehigh and you work in Naples, it's an hour and a half ride.
Yeah.
Like I lost an employee yesterday at our marina because he lived in Lehigh. It took him an hour and a half to get there. Kid's always late, us to get up earlier, but it is what it is. And, he talked 7:30. He texted me, goes, hey, I'm still in traffic trying to get home. Yeah. So this is a problem. So on a county level, we have to work on it on a city level and a state level.
Is there something that you're saying that is going to create workforce housing on Fort Myers Beach?
On workforce housing on Fort Myers Beach, we'll see where the bill ends up. Like I say, it's still in the sausage process.
What in the bill could create workforce housing on Fort Myers Beach?
So if there is a new development, there has to be allotment to allow some workforce housing.
What's a new development?
It would be it's like I say, it's
Something
still
that's
in
newly
the sausage.
What's going to be new on Fort Myers Beach?
Well, there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming. I don't know if there's any big group or like subdivision, but
that's what
there's going to be new housing.
What about
maybe
hotel? Does it affect if there's an?
I haven't read that far into the bill yet.
So if it's it sounds like something federal. They never read the bills
no,
at the federal
level.
It's
like we haven't we haven't had that. It hasn't come before.
No, I'm just joking. But it seemed like the only place right now that you could have a new development would be in the Red Coconut area. If they sell that, then that's a giant piece of property that you could put a housing development. You're talking about a housing development or
housing development? Like I said, it's still in a sausage making process.
Yeah.
It's starting. So by the end, if it does pass, we'll have something new to look at, and then the cities
Some specifics.
will freak out about it, and obviously go back and forth, and we'll help them get.
What do you like the most about being a legislator in the House? Or
you're just helping our area is a main thing, but the ability that you have now that you can pick up a phone call and get something done that quick, like I can call Kevin Guthrie, and we'll have a conversation with him or his senior VP, which is Luke Strickland. He's a great guy. He's been down here. But the thing is you can call and change somebody's life. That's really cool. There's been a couple instances where, we had an issue where there was a young lady that was pregnant. Her father was deathly ill. He had cancer. And I get a little emotional every time I talk about
seeing that. Yeah.
But what happened was he was at the end. It was pretty bad. He wanted to see his, grandkid. But it was tough. So you need to get an ultrasound in there. And they were having difficulties doing that. So I made a phone call. The next day they had a 3D ultrasound in there.
Nice.
They brought him up. He could see his grandchild.
Very cool.
And the next day he died.
Wow. That is crazy.
Those are little things that you can do, that you can pick up a phone. And those are things that you'll have people come up to me now and say, hey, thanks for helping out. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Those are the little things that really make a big difference.
Right.
People are saying they can't hear it all the way down there.
Well, I don't know if I want to turn it up
a little bit.
Dave, is this going to be too loud?
best thing and most challenging thing about your position now?
It's in the legislature. It's very familiar. Like my family, we're in a small business. We have a marina. Before we were doing that, and I'm actually still in the carnival industry. So we do that.
You're a carny?
Yes, ma'am. So I actually grew up doing that. So I always joke it's a lot like the carnival industry. Yeah, pretty much. Same clowns, same circus, But it's
What's
a lot.
What's your favorite game at the carnival? I know what mine is.
I don't play any of them. You know that.
You
Come
don't?
on, no.
Oh no, mine is the one.
Water gun fun. Yeah, water gun racing, water gun chasing.
Yeah, or where the horse goes along.
Yeah,
it's all
those
different.
are all great games.
So go ahead.
It's a lot about
I
relationships.
digress.
It's great. It's a lot about relationships. It's a lot about knowing what you're doing. But the Florida House, it's 120 members, and it definitely represents every little niche and corner in our state. But it's about making relationships and just dealing with people across the aisle because, right now, like in the Florida House, we have 85 members. So we have a super majority in the House. It's great, but you still need sometimes to reach across and work because who knows what it'll be like in 4 years? Who knows what it'll be like in 10 years? So you always have to work that thing. I mean, look at Byron Donalds and you have Jared, God, he's a new senator, a new representative from on the East Coast.
Don't look to me.
A new representative, but they're up in Tallahassee, and he's a Democrat, and Byron's a Republican, and they're on Fox News together. And when you go up to Tallahassee, like I'll have dinner with Democrats. You have to work across. In Tallahassee and DC, that's like people's heads are exploding. But like we've known this guy in the House. We were in the House together 10 years ago. So that's, you got to work, but you got to work across the aisle and work with everybody and, pass good laws. I mean, 80% of the bills that there's 2,000 bills that start, about 200 get passed. Those 280% are completely bipartisan. Everybody's up. It's the 20% that you hear about in the news.
That you're fighting over. Yeah.
So that's the way it usually goes.
So speaking of that, what do you have? What have you put forth that's coming out?
With this year, we're worrying about appropriations. I mean, that's our big thing. It's bring home money for everybody, for Fort Myers Beach, for Sanibel, for Bonita Springs, for Pine Island, Matlacha. That's what we're really driving towards. We do have a local bill to help out Lee Health, Lee Healthcare. We're working on. We're doing that.
The Everglades.
We got a Everglades. We're working. I've co-sponsored a bill with Demi Posada Cabrera, for a buffer because water quality is a big issue. With that, we've got a couple other ones.
Right now, everybody's focused on this situation, but water quality was the big focus before, and it will continue.
Absolutely,
it will continue.
And with our governor, he came down to Bonita Springs. He did it 4 years ago, right next to our marina at FGCU. He was at Coconut Jack's. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. He was at Coconut Jack's a couple weeks ago. He was there talking about it. So now he's asking for $3 billion for Everglades restoration.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need that.
That is what we need.
And that started before Ron. It wasn't with that, Governor DeSantis.
Wait, did you just call him Ron?
Oh, no, I knew he was going to.
But, it needs to get done. And that's the thing that's important to our area, and there's a lot of things that need to get done. The roads here, new development's good because it's septic to sewer. There's a lot of stormwater runoff. Stormwater is a big issue. So there's a lot of things. We got a couple more bills up my sleeve that we're going to file.
Nice.
Haven't been filed yet, but we'll get there.
Septic tanks, all of that stuff.
Well, speaking of Ron, if Ron was ever
do not
available on a Saturday morning and he wanted to come to Wahoo Willie's for a friendly interview, I'm sure he'd be welcome here, wouldn't he, everybody? I think so.
I wouldn't.
What?
I wouldn't hold your breath
we
over
do,
that one.
we do the. How cool would it be if we did those questions with the governor? The speed round
Are you
questions.
a cat or dog person?
Wait, I got that. Wait, hold on. Okay. I got the ticker. Go.
Wait. Cat or dog person?
Dog.
Okay. Favorite TV show growing up?
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Yeah, because he's super young.
Wait, who was in that show?
He's really
the one
young.
with Urkel, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. I was thinking of something
Step
else.
by Step.
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Hunt for Red October.
Oh, you just made that
one.
up.
That was a good one.
If you were to drive across the country in an RV, who would be the person in the
Done it already.
Who would be the
person in the passenger seat that
not your girlfriend?
Can't be your girlfriend or a family member. Most interesting person you'd want to sit with.
John Adams, founding
You're the
father.
second person that said that.
Yeah.
Very cool. I
Most
love John
embarrassing
Adams.
moment.
Somebody
That's
pulled
a
his
good
pants.
question.
Oh, she gets a bell for that. That was unprovoked.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, no. Well,
Oh, no,
well,
everybody answered.
I will
okay.
say everybody's answered, and I
Yeah.
will say that the number one answer is getting what?
Depants.
Depants.
Deep pants. Well, I got deep pants and
In the legislature,
I had a bill up, and there's always ribbing that happens, and I was kind of feeling left out because nobody gave me this ribbing. So it was the last committee. This bill had passed, flying colors, no problems. And it was a 20-minute hazing, long.
Is that on tape somewhere?
It is actually. You have to look it up.
And
But
you're getting it.
Oh, and I took it, and the chairman.
Did your face get red?
Oh, I was laughing. I didn't know what to do, and it was bipartisan too. I got it from the left and the right.
So were they giving you crap about it?
100%.
Worst bill ever.
They're just sitting there well, what does it was actually the bill was able, and what the bill did, it was great. It created a savings account for folks in need, because you're on Medicaid and Medicare, so you can't earn money because it affects that. So it creates a bill. It's called ABLE. Achieve a better life experience, hence that. Yeah. So everything was flying through, no problems, all good. So I was like, at last committee, big committee, and it was Chair Latvala, and my girlfriend tried to give me a heads up. I'm like, yeah, I got this, no problem, and all of a sudden.
Wait, how did she give you a heads up?
Well, because she's on a committee. She's on a committee. She's like, hey, do you know what ABLE stands for? I was like, yeah, I got it. It's in the papers here, no big deal. So we go up there and start going, and all of a sudden it just started coming,
That's so
and
great.
they just started picking this bill apart, and just went at it. And it was funny because there was some Democratic representatives in the front and ladies, and their eyes were because everybody had the mask on because it was during COVID, and everybody had their mask on, and I started laughing, and the chair's like, Representative Botana, this is no laughing matter. This is the Education Employment Committee. This is it's just like, okay,
they were giving it to you.
Yeah, so no, it was it was fun, but it was a good 20 minutes, and I walked away like a wounded dog. But the funny thing is, what does ABLE stand for? And I just went blank.
No way you completely.
I was like, I'll have to circle back with you. So when it did come on the floor, there were some jokes about it. I did have it written on my palm, and so when I did ask, it was ready.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let me reference. Yes, achieve a better life experience. I will know that the rest of my life.
You will never. Yeah, that's tattooed on you somewhere.
That's a great story.
Yeah. So
and you're welcome.
Okay. So on Fort Myers Beach, in my opinion, not everybody's going to agree.
Nice segue.
A
there.
hard segue.
We have a great local government right now. Dan's a great mayor. Jim Annerholt's a great vice mayor. We have a great council. They work hard. And we have, I think, a great town manager in Keith Wilkins, but he's a temporary town manager, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. What can we do to make him permanent? How can we make that happen?
Chris Hawley and Keith Wilkins are believe me, I was on the phone the day after the storm trying to get someone down here to work out. We had to figure out exactly what the best. We had an election coming up. We had to work, so we really had to watch, when the election happened in November, we had meetings, and Chris Hawley is an interim. Chris Hawley and Keith Wilkins are interim. They came from Port St. Joe. They came from Mexico Beach. They were there, and it was something that was good in interim. And this happens a lot. But they do have an RFP out there for a new city manager. We need somebody that has some spine, some teeth, and really knows what they're doing. So, they're going to assist and get them along. Who knows? Maybe the city will decide to extend, if they want Keith and Chris for 6 more months or whatever. If we don't get the proper person, maybe they'll stick around for longer.
I just look at the way they've all been working together, and it just seems like it's working right now.
Yeah, well, everybody has a job, and that's the thing. The city council has to do their job. They shouldn't have 4-hour meetings or 3-hour meetings. If you're going that long, there's problems. But they're unpacking a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you
have to have trust in your city manager. Do the staff with staff.
Yeah,
city council has to do their thing. Because you got to keep it separate. And now this Fort Myers Beach has always had this issue where it goes back and forth. You'll have pro-business, and you have pro-beach where we want nothing to change. And that becomes an element. And that's been like Fort Myers Beach from the beginning.
Right.
City councils have issues on Fort Myers Beach. I mean, you talk to staff, you talk to builders, you talk to everybody. It's tough. So you really have to set it up to where you have a city manager that you can trust.
Strong city manager.
And you got to do it. And a council's got to do their job, but they can't interfere too. So, I mean, it's a back and forth. So,
Gotcha.
you know,
Ping
get
pong.
involved. You have a great council now.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of, normal people. It's good. Just normal,
Average.
regular people, that they want to see Fort Myers Beach do good. We got a great relationship with the state, the county. Ray Sandelli is a great, county commission. We have to keep working with that and keep going.
One question about the county: why Lynn Hall Park hasn't been touched? And they blame it on the insurance
This
thing.
is the second one, folks.
I mean, but I don't.
It's the same in Bonita. I asked the same questions.
All right. So why is it?
I've got an email because they're going through the process. They have to clean everything out. They have to, engineers there. They have engineers already looking at it, what they have to do to get it fixed, what they're going on, And I've told people just sweep it out and start parking there.
Exactly.
But you have to do it the proper way.
Wait. If I went over there with a bunch of yellow shirts and we swept out Lynn Hall Park and
You
just
still
cut the
couldn't-
tape down,
Oh my God!
could
You
they just
can't
park
do
in
that.
there?
No.
I wouldn't do that.
No.
What's the sheriff going to do? Is the sheriff going to
No.
write? I'm not
No.
recommending that. It just
Stop.
seems like it's
No.
been 4 months, but they haven't touched it. That's 100
They're
spots.
waiting?
Yeah, but the streets are clear, and they're but you go off, you see the main drag. That Dan Eller's made a good point. You see the main drag, it looks good, but you turn off Hercules, you
streets,
turn
yeah.
off. There's a lot more that
Nothing to
I'd
do
rather.
with the county, though. Nothing to do with the county.
But that they're all working
There's
together
spots
to
out
clean it
here.
up.
You walk, you drive 1 mile off Fort Myers Beach, and the world is completely normal.
Same in Bonita. I mean, but Bonita Beach, we're going through the same thing because all
Horrible.
the city parks,
Yeah.
all the county parks are along the beach. What's going to happen?
Mhm.
What's going to happen? They're telling me the same thing. It's 6 months.
So the
8 months.
county said April for Lynn Hall Park. At least that's what they told the mayor. And then I asked the county to confirm that, and they said we can't confirm that. It's like it's 100 spots. Just freaking sweep out the parking lot and let the people park there for free.
thing
They're
is-
coming anyway.
Yeah. The thing is, we're working on the back bay. There's
Are
still
you giving
some
me
cars.
the oogly eyes?
Yes,
like, let it.
because you always try to distill it down to this is so easy, and that's not it. They got to make sure it's safe. They got to make sure they're going to get their reimbursement before they just.
Because
Willy
it's so
You make a
Willy.
good point. You
because
make a
it's
good
so
point.
unsafe.
Thank you.
It's so unsafe to
Boom.
park. I mean,
Okay,
you're going to
and-
get
and
injured
peop-
when you park
okay,
your
and
car.
People, okay, yes, and we know people are not litigious, right? So we know.
Well, I mean,
That's a big word. I
it
like it.
doesn't. Please don't encourage her because she'll
you
just keep
gave me
going.
2 good ones
All right.
already.
I'm just a GED educator. I got a certain words out for me.
I'm not even GE what educated. So
Yeah, you and your DV, whatever you think they're teaching in school.
DEI, is that what it is? DEI.
So,
We're not going there.
anyways,
All
Well,
righty.
the
Anyways.
last thing I want to say was,
Did you know he's in the carnival?
Wait, what? You're in the carnival?
so yeah, that's my family's original business. We've been in the carnival business for over 60 years.
Still
See
today?
what happens when you walk away?
Yeah. So actually, before we got into the marine industry, we used to do every NASCAR event across country. So we worked with the France family, Bruton Smiths. We did food
Wow.
and beverage with NASCAR.
Look at you name dropping the France family. Wow.
Well, we had a problem with them. That's
What
how we got.
was the
That's how
bet?
we got involved in the boat business.
Oh, okay.
Actually, but hey, things are crazy. That the things that'll happen
Yeah.
because we actually used to do NASCAR races. We did sport events. We did Ozfest for a little while. Go figure. George Strait Tour. We did 30 county fairs in Michigan, Mississippi, all over the country. I grew up doing that. Again, that's what I was saying. How the legislature is pretty similar. It's a very old school business. Handshake, talk. You have all you have is what you have is your word.
Yep.
And
We've
if
heard
you-
that more
you
than
know,
The
once.
Florida legislature is a limited government. You're up there for a limited amount of time, and you get things done. That's
Oh, 100%.
Isn't that amazing? How go figure where you're
Look
not.
at New York. All right, so New York, they pay their state reps like 150 grand, maybe 200,000 a year. They're in session year round, and their budget is twice of ours. So they're at 200 billion. We're just over 100 billion, and they have debt through. I can't even say
Yeah,
that.
it's
we have surplus,
And you're paying a lot
Right.
of taxes up there.
right.
We
so
know
it's,
that.
it's different.
Right.
Yeah.
Insurance. I know folks are complaining about. I know a lot of people are talking about insurance. We're working on it. We had a special session in December. It's going to take a year or two for those to come
not
around.
everybody agreed with that. that plan there.
There's going to be more. We pretty much shot them. They're on the table now. We're resuscitating them. Got to get them healthy to bring them before
Yeah.
trial.
The thing I wanted to say was you've always been great to us. We're nobodies. We're just dinky little podcasters. Every time we called after the storm, you were there. You answered questions. We have a great relationship with you, and we appreciate that. And thank you for coming on. And
That's in your words. I thought it was so funny the other night when we were talking with Dan, and then we were saying, and Adam's gonna come on.
Make sure you
remind him, and then you popped on the camera.
Well, for people that don't know what happened was we do this show on Mondays with the mayor, but that's remote. So Dan, because it's every week, so we don't want to meet somewhere every week. So Dan comes on. And he's at Buttonwood for that. You were at Buttonwood, right? And so I said, make sure you remind Adam he's got to come on Saturday. Adam walks in the picture. He just happened to be there. It was hilarious.
Well, that's communication. We're talking. Dan had some things, so he said, hey, let's get together and sit down and chat. And that's amazing that that people don't do. With politics, there's a lot of ego. There's a lot of
not
ego.
Not with him
in politics, no. And just have a conversation.
Right.
Folks will. Say all kinds of stuff on Facebook, and it's a zero.
Right.
Doesn't do nothing.
Right.
Facebook doesn't mean anything.
No.
And I'll share stuff on there. You guys have stuff on there, but again, it's a zero.
Yeah.
You get out and talk to the people. You talk. You can do that. Dan had some questions. We got a lot of stuff done. Like, all right, hey, what do you want to do this? What about that? It's about communicating. It's about the after hours, like all the stuff, the formal stuff on a city level. You have sunshine.
Right.
But in the state legislature, we don't have that,
right?
And we can get stuff done.
So on the state level, you can talk to other representatives. Oh, okay,
absolutely,
gotcha.
Yeah. My girlfriend's a representative. We talk a lot.
Gotcha.
So we have. There's.
I hope you're talking about something besides that.
Well,
she reminds me not to all the time.
So do you think the sunshine law should be changed for the local? I mean, I think it's great. I mean, I think it.
It does make it tough to get certain things. When you have situations like this, it does make it tough. I think
slows things down, but those 3-hour meetings that you were talking about, I've heard
people
preemption, allude to that.
Preemption we have to have, so the state will come in and say, so it's tough. Like if I get together, I can't be a portal either to talk, again, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about Chris Hawley and stuff like that. On my own, I was calling.
Right.
Let's clarify that. On my own, I was talking to the governor's office like, hey, I need some help down here. What can you do?
Right.
That wasn't at a county level. I went right to the state, to the big boss and said, hey, what can we do? This is what's been done before. And you know what? We had all my classmates, all the sophomores, there's 24 of us, 23 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it comes out. We're classmates, So in my class, there's going to be an appropriations chair. There's going to be a speaker of the House. There's going to be a Ways chair, Ways and Means. There's going to be Commerce. All that's there.
Right.
So in my class, we had, I think, 20 of our 24 people down here right in our district.
Wow.
They were here Thursday after, like a week after, bringing stuff.
Bayfront Bistro, you all got together?
That was a freshman class.
That
was another one. So, my class was down here, so they all know what's going on. So then a couple weeks later, Tiffany Esposito, that one that we're talking about, she brought their freshman class down, and they came down. We had about 15 of them, and they have 30, so that's half of their class. They were down here. We took them to Bayfront Bistro. They looked at what was going on. They were here. They met with Dan. They met with the fire chief. And so it's good. It's good to have that communication. So they know what they need to do in the state legislature, and we're going to keep pushing. And it's all about bringing home money right now, and that's what we're going to do.
So in a perfect world, when do you think the money will be allocated to Fort Myers Beach?
Well, there's money coming down right now already. There's money coming down already. We have that special session. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. It's going to be good for us. There might be some things that we can get now. That FEMA loan is going to be coming as soon as the city proceeds with that. They're working through that. That'll be now. Then any appropriations are going to come after July.
Thanks for coming on, Adam. Adam Botana,
so
everybody,
much.
a great representative for Fort Myers Beach and the 80th District of Florida. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank
I spoke my hand there. Thank you so much.
I know.
All right, dear. If you want to. All right. I'm going to read a couple of ads before you come back on. I have a great story to tell everybody about the gym this morning. So don't go anywhere. You need to hear the gym story. But first, I need to tell you about Liberty Roofing and Construction, because Liberty Roofing is your trusted roofing company, certified to provide the industry-leading manufacturer's 50-year warranty. Your roof will be done within 30 days. Did you hear what I just said? Your roof will be done within 30 days of your permit being issued. Well, I didn't say it completely until just then, but now you know. Wow, look at that view of the Harbor House behind me. The Harbor House is open for business. Give Patrick McKenna, our friend, a call at Liberty Roofing. His phone number is, write this down, put it in the chat box if you're listening, 401-439-9585. 401-439-9585. Patrick McKenna from Liberty Roofing. Of course, you've seen Jorge on the show. You know that he's selling things all over the beach. And you know that he's one great representative, real estate rep that you want to get in contact with. If you're buying something on Fort Myers Beach, if you're selling something on Fort Myers Beach, we have so many advertisers now that the paperwork is flying everywhere. I should have Jorge's phone number memorized. Here it is. Jorge Barrera. Give him a call at 791-9893. 791-9893. You see his funky signs all over Fort Myers Beach. You see his little caricature on the signs on Fort Myers Beach. Caricature. And, of course, you know, he's no character when it comes to selling those big-ass homes and donating a big chunk of money to the community, because that's what he's doing. Jorge Barrera, give him a call at 239-791-9893. Now, dear, you got to come back so I can tell my gym story before we let everyone go. Now, the beach sidewalk sweep tomorrow, I will be in the Wasting Away parking lot at 7 o'clock if you need to pick up a broom or a shovel or a yellow flag or a penny or a cone or something like that. I took a ride down.
But if you have
it, please. We're not going to have enough for everybody. Yeah. If you have a broom or a shovel or something, I'm going to go buy some more stuff today at the digger. Home Depot or the Lowe's. But I think we got
get with the managers there if anyone's got a hook up there to see if they would help us out with that.
I don't know how many
they would donate some.
You see, the thing is, I don't know how many people are going to show up.
Well, I wouldn't buy too many because I do think people have shovels. Well, we had one till you broke it during the storm. We lost our shovel.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
If you have something,
I hit you over the head with it, and it busted right off.
But if you don't, we'll give you something. Now, don't show up at like 8:59 and expect a broom or a shovel because you got up late and you're hungover.
Yeah, and not like a sand shovel. Like you're gonna need a real heavy.
Well, what I was saying,
a snow shovel. That's
what I was saying is I drove down Estero Boulevard today, and the sand it's effed up. It's everywhere. I mean, there's
and with this wind
we're not gonna get it all tomorrow.
No. 7 Mile Island. No.
So listen.
Okay, what happened at the gym?
So I go to the gym like early in the morning. Like this morning, I got up a little early this morning. It was 2:30, and I got up and I did some work, and so I go to the gym.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait, no, let me tell the story.
You get up this morning and you're banging around, and the next thing I know, I hear wah wah wah, and he sets off the car alarm in our neighborhood. It's so irritating.
I was as
Get
quiet
ready the night before.
I was as quiet as I could be, and I put the keys in my blue hoodie, and then I bent down to put the box on the ground so I could open the door. And as I bent down, my friggin' the lard that I have on my belly just squeezed the thingamajig, right? So the fobby thing got stuck in my lard, and it shot the car alarm off. And I was like, I can't believe this. It's 3:30 in the morning, and the car alarm's going off. So, yeah, I was trying to be quiet.
The dogs start barking. I'm having a heart attack.
So that ended the whole thing about being quiet.
Yeah.
So I go to the gym. Like, you go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, you think nobody's there, right? I mean, there's like 5 people there. So I go to the gym, and today's like a cardio day, which means you're going to sweat a little bit. So I figured I'm going to sweat, so I need to take a shower because I don't want to come to Wahoo Willie smelling like funk. Like, people, the worst thing.
Remember, people are trying to
eat. The worst thing you could have is body odor. And I'm so opposed to body odor. Like, you get remembered for body odor. Like,
as if there are people who are unopposed.
Anything could go on that you can do. But if somebody remembers that you have bad BO, they'll never forget who you are. They'll always say, that's the guy with the BO. That's the guy with the bad body odor.
Guy.
So I take a shower. And, of course, you go to Around the Clock Fitness, and there's a lady cleaning the men's room. I'm like, this is this is ridiculous. There's a lady cleaning the men's room like that. How do you know who allows that to happen these days? Like, she could say, like, she could file a lawsuit for why they made me clean the men's room. There's naked men running around. Now,
none of us want to see that.
No, I don't even walk around my own house naked. Of course, I get to the shower. I get in the shower with my clothes on.
Right.
Well, I leave my sneakers on. I close the curtain. I'm in the shower like with all my clothes on.
Yep.
And so I get out of the shower. Now, of course, she's right cleaning the garbage right by where I'm getting dressed. So I got 4 towels on, and like an idiot, I'm trying to put my pants on with the towel around me.
Yeah.
Like you're pulling the pants up with the towel around you. So, of course, my butt cheeks are sticking out. I'm like, all right, she's going to sue me for sexual harassment. Now she saw my buttocks. She's sneaking a peek too. I mean, I'm sure that's what she was. I mean, why is there a lady in the men's room for crying out loud? So I just think I just wanted to tell that story. So there's not one guy. There's two lazy guys sitting at the desk doing nothing. So they send the lady into the men's room to clean the men's room at 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, so that's my story.
Okay.
Thanks
so much for joining us today, folks.
I guess I should tell that story when there's no speaker.
Yeah. Thanks so much to Adam Botana for joining us today.
Thank you all for coming.
Him taking the time, and you guys spending time with us today. All righty.
We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, everybody, in Waste and Away's parking lot.